Like, what a lovely film that you have made. Excellent work. I loved watching it, and I also loved the journey that it had more. So, how did you come up with the subject for your diploma film?
So earlier it was some other idea, honestly. And we have, for the final film, we have a lot of master classes and everything where people come, like professors come and who are not the regular faculty in the institute, and they come and they sort of mentor us and they tell us, like, help us shape the idea into a script. So for our final master class, Farida Mehta ma'am came, and so I was talking to her about my previous idea, and somehow it was just not working out. And because it also it needed more duration in 24 minutes, it was very difficult. And then she was like, you're gonna show so many things in one, 24 things, you're gonna compress everything, it will not work. So then we were just like normally talking, and I was telling her about my life, and somehow, the topic came up that I'm very sleepy. I've not been sleeping because of this idea, because I just cannot crack it. And then sleep se wahan se, like, it just kept going on. And then I told her about my aunt, that how she, like, used to work in a call center in the night shift, and it was like very like bad for her. And then she was like, why don't you make something on that? Like, it's such a universal thing, sleep. Yeah. So why don't you think of something like this? And I was like, okay. And then it was a very beautiful process, because she works in images. So she, like, taught us, just write images and then see if it's sort of like coming together or not. And then I wrote, like, taking from my life when I first came to Bombay, and I was completely sleepless, and because I just wanted to work and do something with my life, and that and my Masi's, experiences. So I just created all my observations, created them into the images, and I, like, took everything to her, and she was like, yeah, this is a film. But yeah, like, because it takes a village, you need more people to be ADs, and your first AD and everyone. And everybody has their own curriculum, so it's very difficult to find people from FTI. But I had an amazing team. I had Pauravi, I had Ira, I had Atharva, and a lot of people, and all of them. And they're not from FTI, but they've been doing a lot of projects in FTI. So they assist, like, in a lot of projects, and they did a fantastic job. Parvi was my chief AD, and my DA was Ira, and they did a fantastic job. Like, they really helped me, stay calm and collected. And because there were so many things which is happening, and they are the, like, pillars, that I can rely on. If something goes wrong, I can, like, oh, Parvi, what is happening? Fix this, fix this, please. And then she's like, yeah, I'll do it. Wait, just wait, don't freak out. So yeah, they helped me not freak out.
And how did Prerak come into the?
Oh, it was, yeah, I was, so Nikita was first, she came on board for the Anju character. And then, we were just like talking that, I have a very specific, like, look, and, for the main lead, and I'm just not getting it. And I really want somebody who can just emote with eyes, like, who can just do something with the eyes. And then she was like, oh, I know someone, wait. And then she connected with me, Prerak, and I already knew his work from Black Warrant. So, and to be very honest, I just remember his character so distinctly. Like, I loved his performance in Black Warrant.
Excellent work.
Excellent work. So I was like, the moment it clicked, okay, it's that guy. And I was like, done. He needs to be on this project. I'm not gonna, take no for an answer. And then we talked, and he had, like, such beautiful questions about the script, and
Yes, he
such beautiful insights. Yeah, he was, like, so much into the character, like, who is Rajan, and he had, like, beautiful questions, like, what does he do after going back to work, or, like, and then also, because it has an open ending, the film, he had questions about, do you think that he goes back to the job, or does he leave it? Do you think that he is able to escape? And, like, just he just wanted to continue the journey and know. It was not just, okay, the script is from A to B and this is my part. He wanted to know the entire journey of Rajan. Where did he come from? Why did he come here? Why is he not working in Punjab only? Why is he in the big city? Everything. So, like, he had such beautiful insights about the script. I was like, this is just perfect. Like, this guy is perfect. And his eyes, man. Like, if you see the film, his eyes, oh my
I
God.
want to ask you this, like, also, like, a character like Rajan is not someone it's not your lived experience, and it's not someone you meet in your everyday circles. And I understand you had a lot of questions, you tried to understand where he came from, but also, like, what you did with the eyes, as someone, a night shift worker in a warehouse who is just, sleep is just out of his reach all the time. How was your process like? What were you doing?
I mean, first of all, thank you. matlab, for saying such beautiful things
बस
about.
fangirling कर लिया था।
I mean, eyes and all, but I don't know. Like the questions that I asked her about what is he gonna do, what Rajan is about, what's the life, what his routine is like. Because when you have no words, I feel words always, dialogues always work like a crutch. You know, and you can like deliver it in a certain way, and you can get the scene done. But when you don't have lines, you really have to get the spine of the character, right? In terms of the the emotions. I was going like Rajan as a person is so frustrated, so exhausted, but he is also the most tender guy. You know, he is, I think, the only person in the family who would be feeling for each and every one of them. How do you get all of that insight? You really have to, I think, understand what that guy is going through. And I feel like the question that I asked her about, is he gonna go back to the factory, was very important for me, because that would help us do that threshold situation where you've seen the film. There's an instance that happens, or is made to
Trying very
happen,
hard to-
but yeah, no spoilers. So, but yeah, so to have that threshold, I really need to understand what the pressure was inside. Oh, was that decision to like leave everything behind and move forward, or was that a small relief that he wanted? Like, give me a day's break. I am done with life. And otherwise, I don't have any other option. I have to go back to work. I'm not a royalty that I'm coming from a family. Oh, this life is not meant for me. Let me go to, the fields, the beaches. This. I cannot go on with my life like that. I mean, I as in Rajan. So, yeah, I think just being honest with her script that was beautifully written. And I mean, I was very excited when I read the script first, and we had, first of all, तो हम दोनों बहुत fan boys हो गए थे, fan girl, fan boy हो गए थे Ari Aster के, because both of us love him, and we love the filmography, that absurdity in his films, and कुछ हो रहा है. Like I had just seen Beau Was Afraid recently, and I was like, अरे यार ऐसा कुछ क्यों नहीं हो रहा है यार. And there was this short film that I was doing in Aurangabad. It was also about sports anxiety. What a person feels before a match, and we never get to know that, and the film becomes absurd, magical realism, but it never got completed, sadly. Then this Mohtarma came into my life as a blessing and wrote this beautiful film that was exploring magical realism, and was a beautiful fiction and a grounded script that was relatable as well, that everybody can, like, beautiful. All the big directors, like people, that all the best compliments that we've been having is like everybody, even in Cannes, like every person from every part of the world was able to relate with that concept of sleeplessness, during work hours. So cheers to the team and her and everybody.
Tell me a bit about the sound design, because I think that was amazing, and the fact that a character like Rajan is going to have elevated listening and unbearable listening, and he will listen and he will hear things different from anyone else will. Just how did that realization happen? Because again, not your lived experience. How did you even come up with that, and how did you work with the sound designer?
So the sound is done by Sai Sanjay, and
Kosai.
yeah, he's done a brilliant job. I mean, so we decided very very earlier that like in the pre-production, that we're gonna write the entire soundscape of the film before the shoot, and everything will be like pre-decided, that what thing is coming where, and like that, even the texture of the sound, how we need it. Because then what happens is that you like record something, and then later in post-production, like you're trying to add textures to it. Oh, maybe it needs to be a little bit muffled, or it needs to be echoey, or whatever. But we decided very early on that we want to record it, like like we don't want to add like extra effects in the post, because that looks, that you can feel that and something has been added, a filter or something has been added. So we wanted to record it like that. We wanted to record it already muffled. We wanted to record it already at sometimes at a very higher pitch, or sometimes at a very low. So we wrote everything, like textures and everything that we want. And we also wanted some motif, one sound motif in the film. Earlier it was like the whistle that the manager blows, but that was too shrill. Like it was like disconnecting from the, like it was disconnecting, when we were watching, it was like you just disconnect from the film, because it's like, oh, what? So, but I wanted something which gives you that jolt also, is disturbing also, but also not that, shrill that it just sort of disconnects you. So then we found out, okay, this tape is very irritating. So,
tape sound
yeah, so
really
that
stays
tape,
back with-
yeah.
It was.
So we decided that this tape sound, even we got sick of it. So with that tape sound will be something like a motive which will haunt, because again it came from like a personal experience only, that my Masi for a very long time used to still hear, even after leaving the call center, the jingle that plays before a call. It used to come in her dreams. She used to hear the jingle even after leaving the job for like months and months, and it was like PTSD. So I wanted, sound plays a huge role in memories and how your body reacts. Like body, like can suddenly go into fight and flight mode, complete adrenaline just by a sound, a very familiar sound which which was associated with a bad memory or something. So we really wanted to have that sort of a soundscape. And also when you're very sleepy or you haven't had much sleep, I don't know if it's, I think it happens because like my sound designer also said it happens, your hearing becomes a little muffled. You feel pressure on your ears and it becomes a little, there's a weight on your ears and like your jaw area, this tension. And that's why the way you hear also becomes a little, dampened, like a little muffled. So we wanted to create, that feeling in the audience as well, that, even if there were so many people, even in Cannes, they were like, we were feeling very sleepy and tired after watching the film, but in a good way. Like we didn't want to take our eyes off the film, but we also, like we could feel Rajan's exhaustion in us. And it was like very relatable for them because like a lot of people were like, oh, we are going through this. And a lot of people were like, we went through this in life. Then now we are good. Now we have, changed our life and made, like, turned it around. But I was once Rajan. So they saw themselves in Rajan and and also somebody came to me and said, your actor is very good.
Yes.
And I was like, thank you. And they were like, it's very difficult to portray tiredness on screen. Like, that you're exhausted. It's very difficult to show that exhaustion without any dialogue. Without saying, oh, I'm so tired, man. Without saying that, it's very difficult to show that exhaustion and that sleep in your eyes. And like, they were like, he's brilliant, like how he did it. So, yeah.
Like we had this joke going on with the other, nominated people, and they were like, I hope you guys are not method watching. Because everybody was just like us. Everybody was Rajan at Cannes. Everybody was running on 1 or 2 hours of sleep every day. So, I mean, it also became a bit more relatable. That's why.
Yeah. It was like, oh, this is exactly what we're going to write now as well.
We know that.
No, but tell me, to have the institute produce a diploma film, does that in any manner limit or like change your creative process than to be an independent filmmaker with a production house?
It doesn't limit in terms of creative process because they really don't, they give us a lot of freedom that whatever you want to make, you make it. And the professors in our institute, like, my mentor was Ganesh Gaikwad sir and Sandeep Chatterjee sir, who was the HOD. So all of these people are there for you to find your own voice. So they don't give, they of course help mentor us like how technical things and how like a script flow and graph should be and all that. But they never, hinder the creative process. They give us a lot of space and freedom to actually just say what we want to say, whatever story we have inside us. And I think that's something which is very commendable about FTII because they never, intervene between your creative process. Of course, in terms of budget and, the resources, it's of course limiting, but in a very good way because you learn how to make films without all the, hullabaloo around it, like without all the, big budget things or Steadicam bhi aa raha hai, crane bhi aa raha hai, everything is there. Because when you have everything, now you end up making, I think, something which is very just amazing and like a spectacle to watch. But because we're students, like once you've learned, you can use everything. But for students, if you give everything to students, then they'll be like too caught up in like how the image is and they'll just completely forget what the substance is, like, what we're trying to say through the film. So I think it's very good because we have a limit of footage even, that, only this amount of minutes you are allowed to roll the camera, and they don't even allow even a single minute to go usse aage. So like, I think it's a very good process because it helps you learn how to make films with those limitations. It keeps things in perspective for you, that what's important, what's not. It helps you make those difficult decisions, that do you want to take another take. Otherwise, you can just take 15, 20, 25, 100 takes. You just keep rolling. It's digital, everything is digital. Just keep rolling. Who cares? We have hard
We
drives.
used to have so much fun about that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
we used to chat ki, how it's such a limit and people are not allowed to do that. And she was telling me that there have been stories in the past where people have cheated, with
Yeah.
something. But we used to have so much fun. We used to rehearse and we don't I think pura wo bhi bharna was a task. Because we
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
rehearse and we used to have so much fun.
Yeah.
It became like a task.
This guy
ki
used
we
to
have
give one take, like-
It wasn't just
Yeah.
me. I mean, like how everybody was prepared for the take.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
for
but you should. You will say this better because you, I think, in quite a short while, you have seen a lot of very different worlds. Like you have had the theatre background, and then you have also worked in OTT, which is like big budget, lot of people, and a very different way of working. And then you have had films like this. So how do you adapt as an actor? Do you need to adapt? How do you have to change your?
Oh, definitely. It's totally different. It's poles apart.
Yeah.
I mean, in both the senses, some things are good there, some things are bad there, some things are good here, they're not working here. But I think it's just you cannot compare. I think filmmaking is something that is so beautiful that even if you have a 150 CR budget और यहाँ पे तुम्हारा 15,000 है, there can be a possibility that the 15,000 film is better. That's the beauty of it. And like, we would have never thought about it. We never used to talk about the festival journey only.
ये भी बहुत important है. I think a lot of times our language itself sort of changes to adapt to a certain festival language.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that thought in your head, you're just making your diploma film. It also becomes your very original.
Yeah.
But it is coming back to the thing, it is a task.
But
In a
how
way.
do you adapt to?
I remember there's this very, funny coincidental story that I was preparing for something she knows at that time and I had to gain a lot of weight for that. So, FTI में मैं ऐसे gym ढूंढ रहा था. She knows and she helped me with it पूरा because we had that time. She got me the gym pass that is only for the students, I guess. And I was going there, I was taking the diet. But उस time, I was not sure because they have a limit of shooting only 8 hours. And you have to give a rest of 8 hours after that then shoot again.
It's mandatory.
So it is a long shooting schedule. Whereas for like talking about the commercial films, in 15 days we have shot a lot. And here we shot a 24-minute film in a good, comfortable space. But that time it wasn't working. It was like, arey yaar, wahan I have to get there on that set. I'm in constant calls with them about the table reading and stuff. So I was like, I was in a dilemma. I really want to do this, but is it possible for me, going to be able to do it? And my elder brother Rohan, he tells me, you know what? These are the films that go to Cannes. Not even kidding. Not even kidding. And like I was just telling her recently that, and I forgot about that story happened. We were talking about this at the Last NF Terrace. और वो जगह ही ऐसी beautiful जन्नत सी जगह है कि आप नीचे देख रहे हो. Javier Bardem जा रहे हैं.
Literally, right? It's a beautiful view of the red carpet from the terrace. Beautiful view.
But tell me a bit more about your Cannes experience.
Oh.
How that was. Who did you fanboy over? Who did you see? वो भी थोड़ा बता दो.
Let's start with her.
I think I'm going to regret.
She spent more time there. She was from the
I
12th.
went first day. And I was so excited and probably not a very wise decision because a lot of people don't go for the full festival because of course it's exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting. So by the time our program started last NF, I was like just done. I was like, khatam karo, please screening karo, let me go back to my country. But of course, like not complaining because it's such a huge thing and like it's I remember the Clarice from last NF was showing me the red carpet from the terrace and then she was like, oh wait, you have to be there. Like the opening ceremony, I got you passes, you have to be, and I was like, what? And I'm like not wearing something because you cannot just wear anything on the red carpet. So I rush back to my place, change and come back and I'm like running literally to make it. And then it was so worth it because I went in and then I saw Peter Jackson. Like I've grown up watching his film. Like I'm a huge fan. And we saw Peter Jackson, we saw Demi Moore, I saw Park Chan-wook and I was like, I see your films in the institute. I saw your films and I'm like literally witnessing him like in front of me. Like it's it was unreal. Like I was like literally shaking because I was like, is this really happening? Like I couldn't believe it. That because like not long ago you were just a student like in in Pune in FTI, and then suddenly somebody just picked you and like okay, yeah, let's go meet Peter Jackson and Pakistan.
Disneyland भेज दिया है.
Exactly. It's a Disneyland for filmmakers, and John Travolta we saw, Rami Malek we saw, like big
Everyone you saw.
stars. Yeah, and then it's just overwhelming. The whole experience is overwhelming because like it's like it's my first film festival ever, and the first film festival, I was like I was talking about the team and I had goosebumps while telling them, "Ki guys, the first logo that we're adding on our poster is Cannes." Like how unbelievable is this thing? Like how unreal this is, and yeah, it was a very surreal,
I think we were-
starstruck experience. For all
I
of
think we
us.
were at the Sucharita interview, na? That day we were sitting with Sucharita and like we just wrapped and we were all standing at the near the crossette. I think.
yeah.
And then they left. She had a meeting,
Yeah.
so she left and they were waiting for me. I was on a video call with my family, showing them the view and everything. They leave and Renate Rensway comes in.
Yeah.
Oh, you posted
Yeah.
a picture
Yeah,
with her
and
and she's wearing that suit.
That suit. And I posted that
She
picture.
was there, yeah, I
and
saw
she
her,
posted that picture after 2 days.
She also posted it.
Yeah, no, not with me, but like that picture was an iconic picture. And I was having a conversation with her. I went to her, I said, hi, we have our film is Shadows on the Moonless Nights, is at competition at Larsen. Like, oh, where is this film from? Like, we're from India, and we had a beautiful conversation. I told her that I'm really excited about Backrooms, and the first thing that I did after coming back to India is attend the Backroom premieres. And it was such a beautiful feeling that, this Didi we know. And like Rami Malek and we bumped, like Peter Jackson, like something that I'm shooting right now is, I would love to talk about it more, but the character is, my director and I were talking about the character, that how it's inspired from Gollum. And like this time we go to Cam and Peter Jackson is here. So it was just very, very absurd. And then of course, Pedro Almodovar and like everybody, you just...
Every name that you say and like...
Yeah, like you're reading, like suddenly you just, one day you're reading and watching their films and reading about them and reading their interviews, and then suddenly they're in front of you. So it was just I was very overwhelmed, honestly, like because I'm also neurodivergent, so I get really, like it's very difficult for me to, handle my own things. And then suddenly somebody has like put you in such an overwhelming big space. So I had a really hard time, honestly, handling everything and soaking everything in. But it was such a great experience, yeah. Like
it was
just being in that
surreal.
space.
We can't, I mean...
Yeah, it's undescribable. It cannot be described.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you guys...
Very grateful, honestly. Very grateful for this experience.
I think there was also this one, we were at Carlton on the first day and I had just seen Michael. And Nikita and she again, हमारी डायरेक्टर साहिबा बेचारी काम में ज़रा बिजी थी तो वो ज्वाइन नहीं कर पाई थी उस दिन. तो निकिता and I went to Carlton because we were told by big filmmakers like Sudhir sir and all that these are the bars that you go, try to afford one drink there and hold that drink and meet the directors and beautiful, and like we were like okay, mazak, of course, all jokes, but we went there and being Indians we started dancing. We were vibing and some people enjoyed, some started joining in, and then dancing is something that I started before acting.
Right.
So I think I'm quite good at it. थोड़ा. तो मैं नाच रहा था and they played Michael Jackson's song and I was already in awe with Michael. And there was this friend of ours that became a friend of ours and he was like, why don't you do the moonwalk? I was doing the moonwalk and I look at this guy, I go up to him and he's like, good job. We have this small conversation. You know who this guy is? He's Coleman Domingo, who plays Michael's father in Michael. I'm like, dude, I'm literally shaking right now. Like, what? This is Cannes. Anything can happen
anything can
anywhere.
happen.
Insane.
Yeah, it should be the tagline.
Yeah. Anything can happen anytime. But yeah, I'll end with this absolutely amazing work, and I'm so glad that this film had this journey. But tell me, any plans with the film on how to reach a wider audience? I don't know whether Diploma films are allowed to.
Yeah, we're not allowed, like, because it's intellectual property of FTI, so we're not allowed to, like, attach a salesperson or anyone but of course it's going to other festivals and, it will go, and whoever is there, you should watch the film, I think, and yeah. So it will go through its journey.
Yeah. I'm sure it's going to have a lovely journey ahead.
We hope.
Me too, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.